Hey, what's going on guys, it's Conmelo here and welcome back to another video. Seems like every single season there's the big MVP discussion that progresses throughout the year. Last season it was a battle between Giannis and LeBron, back in 05 it was Nash and Shaq, and if we take it back to the 90s it was Michael Jordan and Karl Malone. But this season it's shaping up to be one of the closest NBA MVP races between these four main players. One of them being Joel Embiid, an already superstar level player looking to make a big jump. Next is Steph Curry, who just came back from a hand injury and is out to prove that he can still flourish in a system not convenient for him. And then next is Kevin Durant's huge comeback season from usual career-ending injury, that being an Achilles rupture. And finally, LeBron James, who is here to prove Father Time wrong. Firstly, I want to say I don't see Giannis being the MVP, mainly because of voter fatigue, so that's why he didn't make the list, but I do have some honorable mentions before we start the countdown. So these players in no particular order are Nikola Jokic, Kawhi Leonard, Damian Lillard, Luka Doncic, and finally Paul George. Alright, let's get right into the video. Joel Embiid was born in Cameroon, a country in Africa. Joel was always taller than all of his peers and was always interested in sports. And for this reason, he was planning to play professional volleyball in Europe. But things changed when Joel started playing basketball at 15. Joel Embiid modeled his game off Hall of Famer and NBA champion Hakeem Olajuwon, and these post moves still show in his game today. To keep things vague, Joel made his way up to play at Kansas for college level basketball, where he was eventually selected number 3 in the 2014 NBA draft by the rebuilding Philadelphia 76ers. Joel didn't play his first 2 seasons due to a foot injury, and even when he did get back, he was still playing for limited minutes. And still he managed to average 20 points a game. Since then, Joel has made his way up to NBA stardom, playing in many All-Star games up to the point. During an interview last year, Joel Embiid said he wanted to be the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, and one of the things just might be answered with this big jump this season. Joel has been averaging almost 50, 40, 90 while being one of the most efficient mid-range scorers of all time, shooting around 55% from that part of the floor. It also seems like the sports spacing on the floor has really opened up the court for Joel Embiid to do what he does best. Him and Ben Simmons seem to be figuring out how to coexist well, and all of these things together are making Joel Embiid's MVP hopes closer to reality. Stephen Curry is one of the most well-known basketball players. One of the most well-known athletes of all time. Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time, and I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. Steph's career has always been made up of super teams on super teams, starting off his first championship off with Klay and Draymond. These seasons are widely regarded as Steph Curry needing help, but that's not the case. Bob Myers just knows how to get the pieces for teams to play winning basketball with 2 of the greatest shooters ever, a defensive-minded and pass-first small ball center, a defensive-minded 6th man, and a role player Andrew Bogut. The 2016 Warriors were a sight to behold. Then the 2017 Warriors came with Kevin Durant, another player on actually this list of MVP candidates. Joining the Warriors, Bob Myers fit him in as well, but last year when KD left, Klay tore his ACL, and Draymond was battling injuries, it was up to Curry to carry the Warriors, but he fractured his hand and was actually out as well. Now Curry's returning to a roster that doesn't complement him very well. Curry is averaging monster numbers and leading the team to a playoff spot in the most stacked West we've maybe ever seen. Steph's numbers this year are arguably better than his unanimous MVP season a few years back, and these are some of the reasons the MVP trophy could be Steph's to hold up at the end of the regular season this year. I feel like we all know Kevin Durant. He's drafted in 2007 with the 2nd pick to the Seattle Supersonics. Kevin Durant quickly established himself as the best player in the class, bring home Rookie of the Year honors. Kevin Durant was just having fun getting his stats actually until Russell Westbrook broke out from the draft class. I believe maybe 1 year later, and James Harden was also drafted. As all 3 developed, they became a real contender in the West, making the finals in 2012, but ultimately falling to the Heat with LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And after this, the Thunder spent a few years contending, but never making it back to the finals. The Thunder lost a playoff series with the 73-9 Warriors after holding a 3-1 lead, and this led to Kevin Durant joining them in 2017 to form a super team, and they ended up taking 2 championships. The dynasty was set to continue until Kevin tore his Achilles against the Raptors, in the NBA Finals 2019. So that summer, Kevin decided to go to Brooklyn to team up with Kyrie Irving. KD was out for the first year of Brooklyn, actually still recovering from his Achilles injury, but since coming back this year, he's turned what has been a career-ending injury to most to the perfect setting for a comeback story. KD is currently averaging 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists on a contending team, making him one of the favorites to take home the MVP award. I would say the tweaks to his game that he had to make due to the injury but there basically were none. He's still playing the same and is just as dominant as right before he was injured. But, you know, usually players who don't really rely on their athleticism tend to be okay, so that makes a lot of sense. I know I said this about the last two guys, but for real, we all know LeBron. We all know that what he's trying to do this season. 36 years old, year 18, still in MVP contention, and probably still the front runner for the award this year. Last year to start the season, we had the LeBron doubters talking like how they usually talk, trying to say he was going to fall off that year. And now they tried doing it at the beginning of this season, but what I feel like people don't understand is something that CP3 said actually in when he was on JJ Redick's podcast is you can't just always expect a player to fall off 3 months after a season because of age. And if you do expect that, this is my take on it. If you do expect that, not only do you not know basketball, you just don't really know how the human body works. And I'm not saying that his athleticism is falling off, but his jump shot is looking very good this year, and this makes it so he doesn't have to get to the rim as much and actually use his athleticism so he can preserve it more. We saw this with some of the greatest players of all time, actually, like MJ and Kobe. They started relying on their jump shot later in their career and still were crazy dominant. And at LeBron's age right now, he should have been doing that like 5 years ago. But as we know, LeBron has always been different. And by different, I mean the intangibles. Every year you can expect LeBron with a finals appearance if he has a decent team around him. And I think he can be dominant longer than Kobe and Jordan and players like that because he doesn't really have to take over the game on the scoreboard to be effective. His numbers are currently 25, 8, and 8 on 37% from 3 on 6 threes a game. And these stats, the team record and the narrative might just be enough to guide a 36-year-old LeBron James to his 5th NBA MVP. And, you know, maybe in a finals MVP. We might make a video for that. You never know. So, yeah, we're just going to wrap it up quick. So, yeah, that was my video on who's going to win the NBA MVP award this season. I don't know if it was obvious by the way I was speaking, but I have LeBron winning it this year. I think LeBron has the 3 big attributes that contribute to winning the MVP award. First being his individual stats, and you know those check out. He has a team record, and also the forgotten one is the narrative. I think he simply has the best story in the MVP race, so that's what I think will get him the MVP at the end of the season. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you could hit that like button, that would help the video grow. The sub button would also be great, and that helps the channel grow itself. And of course, if you like these videos, you can hit the bell button. What that does is notify you every time I upload. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.